Cheers, how you doing, and welcome back to the channel. Now, I'm sure you read the title of this video. This is the first episode in the series to take an account from $10,000 to $1 million using a funding company called StockNet Institute. Now, I'll give you more information on StockNet towards the end of the video. Now, I'm going to release these videos every time I scale up my account with StockNet Institute. Every time you make 10%, your account is then doubled. So I start with a $10,000 account, and as it's episode 1, I've obviously scaled this now to a $20,000 account. Episode 2 will be 40, 3 will be 80, etc, 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 etc. I think you understand the premise. Now, there's a few goals with this series. Number 1 is to be completely legitimate and open about every single trade that I've made. There's a MyFXbook link to this account in the description below if you want to check that out. And ultimately, it's just real trading to show you how you can make a passive income and then potentially a full-time income with your trading. But before that, remember, if you like the video, remember to like the video. If you like the concept, like the video. Know that if I get more likes, people seem to enjoy that type of content, and I'll obviously keep making them. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed to the channel, you can hit subscribe if you like to. You can always unsubscribe later. Right, so here we are on the computer. This is my FXbook account for this SI account, obviously. I don't actually know how to make this public. I don't know, I'm dropping this link in. Let me know if it actually works or not. I saw something from SI that has to be verified or something. I don't really understand how to do that. If you guys know how to do that, let me know in the comments down below. But anyway, this is the my FXbook account. You'll see that I'm slightly down off the 10% because I've taken a USD CAD since I've scaled up. Unfortunately, that was a loser, but this is not about that. This is about the initial 10%. As you can see here on July 12th, 10.01% growth, which allowed me to scale up to balance of 20,000. There we go. So 10,000, 11,000, 20,000. There, it's all working out. Now, I have done a separate video. I'm not sure if this is out just yet on my first 6 months performance in terms of trading wise of 2022. I feel like it's actually my biggest achievement in trading. That's what the video is titled. So check to see if it is out. I'll put the link down below. If it's not, then, you know, just wait. Yeah, I feel like not from a percentage wise, not from a monetary wise, that the last 6 months, because of what's been happening with Russia, Ukraine, because of the inflationary worries, just what's happening globally, coming out with a scale, and actually my actual performance, I'm up 17.6% on the year. I'm really happy with that. So if we look through, and I'll go through my actual trades in a second, but you can see how it's been pretty constant, and this is why patience is such a big thing with trading. Because up until the point that I took that EU trade, or a massive EU trade, which is essentially got me 13% and made me scale this account. Now that's not luck, that's patience, that's discipline, that is my edge. I know that those trades will come. So notice as we go on from April of this year that we're sticking around, you know, 3% up. Then I was close to losing this account. Now remember, when you do a funded account or when you do a SI account, the first stages, or an FTMO account, whatever it is, the first stages are the hardest because that's when your drawdown is the smallest, or you're limited. Obviously, you have challenges. That's when the pressure is at the highest. So when I was a -6, all I had was 2% more, and then I would have lost this account. But I kept going, and I had no fear taking positions. I got some good running results from -6 to +4. I believe that was an EJ trade and a GCAD trade. And then I ended up losing a little bit here down to -3. And then the EU trade banged me up to 10.1%. This is essentially how I've done it. I've done not much for, what's that, you know, 2 and a bit months. And then one trade in the space of a week gets me my 10%. So this is what I have done good essentially over the past 6 months, not just since April, from January, February, March as well. I've stayed patient and let those winners come to me, and they will eventually come. So notice that with your trading, that you're not going to be a millionaire overnight. It's a slow process, but it's one that if you do the right things, you will eventually get there. Now, the interesting thing here is I usually have a higher win rate. But again, since the fundamental stuff has happened, my win rate has actually gone down to 32%. So my win rate here, you can see I've won 14 out of 44 trades. Now, I actually think this is a little bit skewed because some 0.01 positions I do to calculate position size. So it's a little bit lower than it should be, but ultimately it still is very low. Now, I'm not saying you can't make money from a 32% win rate. Absolutely you can with your risk reward is high enough. We've obviously seen that. But just in the last 6 months, I talk about in my other video, that my win rate is reduced because of the fundamental side, but I've still managed to make money, and that's important. As a new person to my FXbook, not because I'm not profitable, but I just never used it. I was taught through TJS, which is TJS software. Ultimately, this is the main thing that we see here. So you can see here, balance of 20, profit 587. That's taking away the latest USD CAD loser that I had. I can show you that somewhere here. And as we go through the history, look at this second page. Look how many reds there is. Right? But I've still made 10%. With loads of losing trades, right? I've still made 10%. And that's where you just have to be patient with your trading, because you go through 2-3 months of, shite really, and you'll get your reward. You'll get your reward. So what I'll do is I'll show you the trades that got me from -6 to 5% growth, and the trade that got me from -3 to obviously scale, the EU trade. And you can see my personal setups. And as you can see here, this is my actual SAI account. You can see I'm sitting on 2587. I did not take any money out, so I was on 21K, lost a USD CAD with a little bit of swap that has made me go down another 10 bucks than I should have. But I was on 21K because I'm keeping that buffer. So when you first start on my 10K account, I had an 8% drawdown limit. Because I kept all my profits in, and I was sitting on 20,000, I actually have a 13% drawdown limit now, which is obviously great. I'm not planning on taking any money out of this account until it probably around the 80K or the 160K mark. Okay, so I'm going to keep increasing this drawdown to 15, 16, 20 plus, where trading just becomes a lot easier because I'm good enough not to lose that account. And that's so important if you're doing a funded challenge. It doesn't matter how much money you make, right? The buffer is so important. Because if you, let's say you get a 100K FTMO account, for example, or a SAI account, whatever it is, right? And you take your profits out every month. So you're taking out, let's say you make 3K, you take it out, you're back to 100. Okay, let's say you make 10K, you take it all out, you're back to 100, right? And then you go through 2-3 months of losers. What are you down to? You're down to, 91, 92, and then you're at risk of losing this account in a month, in 2 months. Whereas if you keep this 13K and you keep your buffer moving up and up from that drawdown, your losing month is not going to put as much of a dent into that account as it would do previously. So keeping that buffer, if you take anything away from these videos, is so key. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to take any money out of this account until it's at least at $80,000. So I'll show you this EU trade. This is my new strategy that I implemented about 2 months ago, actually, funnily enough, quite recently. I've had a breakout strategy and a breakout retest that I've used for years. I've been testing this aggressive strategy for 7 months, and I've implemented it. EU was actually my first winner on this aggressive. And the clue's in the name. I want these trades because I'm a little bit more of a blue chip trader. Don't go for massive returns. Usually go for a little bit higher win rate, lower payoff. But the aggressive is completely opposite to that, where I'm looking for a lot of money, i.e. a higher payoff ratio, but I understand it's going to have a lower win rate. So I'm a bit more aggressive. So I had a few trades. I think I had 2 trades in the aggressive prior to this, or maybe it was 3, that all lost. They were all losers, but again, I understand that this strategy is going to have a lower win rate. And here I was looking at my cut with handle. Nice pullback back to that 20, and my entry was on this outside bullish engulfer, coming on increasing volume here. So that was my catalyst to entry, coming on increasing volume. We know that EU was on a larger term downtrend, a Dow theory downtrend, and aggressively I'm selling this candle. So sell it here at market, stop loss above, and we're looking to take this down. So we can see here the multiple R's that we're getting involved in. And I took profits down at the 1.0 psychological level. Now, normally I use the SAR for this, but when you get major levels such as the 1.0, it's something you've got to think about taking profits at. And that actually turned out to be a good result because EU is now pushing up, although this could still be a pullback. So that was a trade. You can see here, risk reward is, it's great. And I'm risking 2% per trades because I'm more of a selective trader. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 13 point something percent winner. Brilliant. Great trade. Very simple stuff. Trading does not have to be complicated. Where is the trend going? Obviously, we're on a downtrend. We created our basing structure here. Basing structure. Good corrective. Volume coming in at the end of that pullback. Let's continue with the trend. Simple stuff. Simple execution. Simple is always better in my opinion. Now I'll take you through this GCAD trade, which was another great breakout retest. This is part of my strategy that I've used for years. My bread and butter was the breakout retest, started developing then the breakout, and then obviously the aggressive later. But we've got our initial structure here, our first structure, cup with handle, second structure here, breakthrough on volume, looking for the retest. Now I cannot take breaks on anything under the 4 hour. I found that my win rate completely was obliterated taking breaks on smaller time frames because of the volatility we see. I was getting stopped out too much. Now, that's just me personally in my personal trading and my back testing. We come back, we had our steady state retest back to the golden 20 catalyst, which was our inverted hammer, right? And a perfect inverted hammer here, coming on increasing volume. I believe we'll get a crosshair out. There we go. We see a little spike in volume, i.e. potential old support becoming new resistance, a breakout retest, looking for this to go to the downside. So we sold this candle, stop at the previous swing, right? So I'm not too aggressive by selling the candle. I used to do that, but I found that I had a better win rate being less aggressive and using the previous swing. I took profits at 1-to-1, and essentially I just let this run. So I let this run and run, and I can't really remember where I got stopped out from. I think it was somewhere down here. I got stopped out somewhere down here, and I can show you the confirmation of that trade on my FX book, so you know I'm not bullshitting you. Where is GCAD? There's pound CAD. Here we go. A sell. I think that must have been the second one. And then there should be another pound CAD. Pound CAD. Here we go. So there was the first TP. $100 a profit at 1-to-1 risk reward, which as I've stated. And then we had our second pound CAD getting about $563 off a $100 position. So great trade, great trade. Right after I took GCAD, the final great one. So really 3 trades helped me with this. First scale was Euro Yen. So Euro Yen was a 4-hour break to the upside. This is where I took it. We can see our squeeze into this zone from a larger context ABC corrective uptrending market. At the time, I didn't really agree with selling the yen because of the risk sentiment. However, I couldn't go away from this context, and it was great. So if we zoom in, right, we can see that squeeze. First structure V reversal. Second structure again increasing strength into that area. We're knocking on this door as we go along. So I always use the analogy of like a police trying to break down a door, is that the door gets weaker every time they smash it with that pole thing. And that's essentially what I'm looking for with my breakout. So I like to see multiple tags of the key area along with increasing pressure. So once we saw this pattern develop, we got to here, I inputted my breakout order above that 200, which is a good sign because if price moved up, yes, it could have rejected, but we can use that 200 as an area of dynamic support to price. Stop loss under our swing. So the trade was essentially, that's not a very good line. Trade was essentially here, stop loss underneath, and we took 1-to-1 and we let the second bit run, trailing the swings, getting stopped out, I think roughly around there. So EJ, again, using this as 2%, you can see we've got 2, 4, 6. I think it ended up to be 7% because we took half off at 1-to-1 risk reward. Now, I might have gone through that too quickly. Again, if you want to know a little bit more on how I trade, check the links down below. Simplicity Trading, we do 7 days for free. So, yep, that's it. That's episode 1 done, 10 to 20,000. So, episode 2 will be 20 to 40. Hopefully, there will be an episode and I won't go and crash and burn everywhere and ruin this account. Although I don't think I will do that, but let's see, and anything can happen. But episode 2 will be 20 to 40, and then 3 will be 40 to 80, and so on and so on and so on. So again, if you like this concept, make sure you hit that like button. If you're not subscribed and you want to see this journey to 1 million, I am very confident and I'm not going to stop until I get there. Hopefully it will help you guys realize how to trade the markets properly and how to use time as your advantage and not try to flip accounts and be millionaires overnight, because that is a surefire way to get out the market very quickly. Trust me, I've done that before. It doesn't work. All right, guys, have a great day and trade safe. Remember, subscribe. Peace.